Come on, son.
Raphael on the track.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. Y'all know what it is. Come on, son, the podcast. Joining me in the studio right now, one of the legendary hip-hop artists in this world from Bone Thugz-n-Harmony, my man Bizzy Bone. What up, fam?
What's good? What's good?
How you been, brother?
I'm good. Just putting the phone on airplane mode, you know what I mean?
So we can chop it up a little bit.
That's right.
Dropped another LP, huh? What's this solo LP number what?
This is, this one gonna be, I dropped a couple of mixtapes. It's gonna be like number 11, number 12. I lost count after around 2007, 2008.
That's a long time to still be making a lot of music, man. What compels you at this point in your career to still make music?
Well, I've been on the road with my crew since 2009, since Flesh got out of jail, and constantly staying in the studio. So it's just loving music and I guess being in it for the right reasons, you know? Doing it for the right reasons, not just for the hustle, not just for the paper, for the love of music, I guess.
Yeah, what was it that drew you to hip hop in the beginning?
Breakdancing.
When you were a little Brian.
Breakdancing in the projects with the Enforcers and the Junior Jam and Freeze crew in Columbus. Of course, hip hop, rap, New Edition.
Okay.
So I came up in that era. I grew up like that. I was groomed by that kind of energy.
What was it about the fellas that made y'all all get together? What was that main ingredient that made y'all form Bone Thugs?
Struggle. Struggle was the main ingredient. Like talent, of course, and then we all met in the right place, but we met in a drug environment circumstance to where we were young, selling drugs, and we ran across each other and found out through each other's parents that we had similar talents, and it just manifested in a...
Is it true that you guys were singing a lot back in them days?
Yeah, I'm the singer of the group, definitely. I started singing first. I found my voice singing like very young, like 4 or 5.
What kind of stuff were you singing back then?
Oh, man,
Michael Jackson, Jackson
Lionel
5?
Richie, Motown. That's what Dad listened to. Mom and Dad listened to that. So started off with those things and duplicating voices. I was real good at duplicating voices. Then I started learning my vocal cords and how to stretch them from the voices I duplicate. And so just picked up from there and fell in love with music.
Fell in love with hip hop.
Oh yeah, hip hop.
Was there any one thing that you can pinpoint that made you fall in love with hip hop?
Eric B, Rakim.
Oh, wow.
And the DOC, Dana Dane, Slick Rick. I got this mixtape.
That's funny. I just talked to Dana Dane yesterday.
Yeah, I got this mixtape from my homeboy who was a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I was real young, and I would just listen to it. I had a radio up to my ear. It had a mix of Rakim, Dana Dane, Slick Rick. And then when
Rakim's here in the city this weekend.
Yeah,
Eric B and Rakim here this weekend, actually, in Chicago.
That's my guy right there. That's my guy.
Yeah, that's the G.O.D. right there, bro.
Yes, sir.
Were you surprised at all by your success as once Bone Thugs-n-Harmony hit? Do you remember? Are you at all surprised by that?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised by it. You know, it was unexpected. We felt like we would be able to bring something to Eazy-E in particular when we went out to Los Angeles. But to actually meet him and have to go back to Cleveland, it just was like a whirlwind of success, and it hasn't stopped for 26 years.
Wow. It's been that long already?
Yeah, 2 decades and some time.
Damn, bro. That is a long-ass time, bro. Yes. And the fan base has just grown with y'all. You know, y'all still doing shows all over the place. It's just, that's got to be a beautiful feeling after 26 years, bro. That this is what you've been doing for 26 years. Like, you don't get that kind of career normally.
Yeah, we came at a great time right before, the internet age and social media hit. It was still about radio. It was still about marketing and promotion, grassroots, out the trunk. So we was right on the cusp of it, just right in the right time. We got a lot of hits out there. We got 10 real strong ones, so it's kept us on the road.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Bizzy. You done got into it with the Migos, right? And it's been pretty critical. What do you think, what do you see that's wrong? Why did you feel so disrespected by them?
I mean, not only the things they were saying, the lazy about sleeping with his wife or him not having no money and all of this other stuff. I just seen when Jay-Z would say "death to the auto-tune," they never said "shut up, old head." Or when Eminem, did the Kamikaze, they never said "shut up, old head." So what I started figuring out was what they was really saying was to all of the older generation that didn't have great contracts and didn't have their money correct. So that kind of threw me back, and it was like, so, my generation and the generation beforehand ain't allowed to talk. We're not allowed to say what we don't like in hip-hop. And then as men in general, we really don't want to talk if our money ain't right. And it's a touchy subject. So I just felt compelled to just stand up for all of them, for everybody that don't really want to say nothing because they're going to look bitter because they may not be financially in Forbes or whatnot. So that really has been driving me and fueling me.
But the thing with me with hip hop, and I got a lot of respect for Migos because they showed me nothing but love when we met. The point of hip hop, the thing about hip hop is your skill level. For us, it was always your skill level, not how much money you can accumulate. We have had a lot of artists in hip hop, even in our days, that weren't really skillful at accumulating money. So one thing doesn't have anything to do with another one. And I always felt like if an artist fall back on their money so quick, if all they could say is I got more money than you, then you're really covering up the fact that you really are not secure with your skill level. Because I saw the back and forth with Lazy, and when Lazy was like, let's go, one of the Migos was like, let's go bankroll for bankroll, and Lazy was like, no, let's go skill for skill. Your crew against my crew, and let's see who's got the better skill.
Yeah, definitely, and I felt that same exact way, and I'm not gonna let up. I'm a hip hop person. I'm a hip hop artist. It's been about battle. It's about the sport, and I got money. So you're not finna come at me like that, and I'm gonna make sure you understand and feel this pressure and get where we coming from. I'm gonna give it to you the entire way, whether you got a skill set or not. You gon' answer me, then. Go ahead.
But the thing about it, though, Bizz, is it's just like a matter of respect, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, don't they understand that if we didn't do what we did, if we didn't go through what we went through, if Bone Thugs didn't do what they did, if it wasn't for the Furious Five getting jerked around by Sugar Hill Records the way they did, then you wouldn't even be in a position to make the money that you're making right now.
And see, that's the whole thing about it. When we sit down and we try to speak about it and be normal and be civilized, they too young to really sit down and understand it because their lives are moving so fast.
Right.
So those kind of dudes and that kind of a generation, you just got to beat them up. Lyrically, you got to beat them up. And I'm going unrelentlessly for some time. I'm going to keep hitting them song after song and stay at them until I feel that, when they'll finally, 21 Savage, he apologized to Lazy.
Right.
But it was off camera. So the brand and the fans still think him saying, I'll sleep with your wife, but way harsher words, that's still out there. Put up your M's. It's still out there. They apologizing behind the scenes. Then they telling, what do you think about the older generation? They should be kissing our feet. Oh, no, man, I got to say something.
Yeah, I saw that too. And I definitely had to speak up on that one because I am the older generation. In my opinion, it should be vice versa. Kissing feet, y'all should be kissing our asses because we opened the door for you to make the kind of money that you're making right now.
That's like saying that to Martin Luther King or saying that to Malcolm X.
Or LeBron James saying that to Jordan.
It's just such blatant disrespect, you know what I mean, to where the only way to really go at him is talent for talent and bring it out and put it out there so the people can just see that and enjoy that and bring hip-hop back to its roots, back to the sport, the cannabis and the LL. Without the Tupac and the Biggie nonsense, we too old for that. You know what I mean? We too mature for that. After Nipsey and what happened to him, that ain't where we at with it right now. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, but let's talk about Nipsey Hussle for a minute, man. How did you feel about that when you heard it?
He was in the Bone Thugs movie. I tried, and I've known him, for a long time. I didn't know him like a lot of other people, but it was just such a loss, and it reminded me of what the young lady did to Selena. And it's just, to me, it's the mind state of society. Whereas, this guy was working with the police as an informant. Nipsey was also working with the police, but to clear up gang activity. Right. His retort should have been, "You're no better than me." That's a quote in the movie Hoodlum. But the mental state and where he's at and whoever's controlling this whole youth, new generation, he wasn't skilled enough to balance it out and make Nipsey think. Instead, he wanted to hurt Jay-Z. He wanted to hurt the NBA players. He wanted to hurt as many people as he possibly could.
Right.
It wasn't just about Nipsey. Nipsey wasn't afraid to die. It was about hurting the people that he was helping.
Right.
He didn't want to kill Nipsey. He wanted to kill Nipsey's buzz. He wanted to kill Nipsey's friends, fans, family, and the loves of his life. That's what, and he succeeded. He's he's one of them ones. He out-demoned a demon.
What do you think about people saying that was government controlled? That he was sent by the government to kill Nipsey?
I don't know. You know, I think that we thought the same thing about Tupac, but we didn't just look at the signs of some dude hustling, trying to get a couple of dollars, start some stuff, and we didn't see the signs. You know, they jumped this guy, shot him up. It's the gang culture out in Los Angeles. It's so deep and it's so in depth.
And it's serious.
And it's very serious. And it's stupid. They put Jesus to the side. They put God to the side. They put a religion to the side, and they ride as kids, 13-year-olds, killing people.
Right, 11-year-olds. Yeah, definitely. Did when y'all blew up, when Bone Thugz-n-Harmony blew up, did you have to leave your neighborhood?
Yeah. I definitely left the neighborhood. I was in a because I came up in foster homes, different things of that nature. So I was born in Ohio, and I was in and out of Cleveland throughout my childhood, but I had roots in another city in Ohio, so I went out there and lived out there. But in general, I do think that when you make it, put money back into your neighborhood, but get up out of there. Like Houston loved Nipsey. You know what I mean? It's just at this point, at this time, you really got to be careful, but nobody really expected it.
Let me get your opinion on this, Bizzy, because I was going through my Instagram the other day, and I follow Nori from Capone and Noriega. Been my man for a long time since we were both, well, I wasn't a shorty. Nori, I got Nori by about 10, 15. So Nori was a shorty. Back in the days, we knew a lot of the same people. And Nori said he thought that keeping it real was when you get on, you put your niggas on, you do what's right, you reinvest in the hood, you do what you're supposed to do. And then he went on to say how Nipsey was a good guy. Nipsey wasn't no sucker. He wasn't no bitch-ass nigga. He wasn't the kind of nigga that squeal on niggas and they tried to do right by his community, and he got killed for it. So now he thinks, this is Nori saying, I'm thinking that keeping it real is keeping it fucking wrong. What's your opinion on that?
I think that...
Because the same shit happened to Jam Master Jay.
I know. I think that it's going to always be casualties. I think it's always going to be things that happen that we don't understand in the course of doing the right thing. And I think it starts within ourselves, now. Right now, the best thing we can do is not kill each other.
Right.
Is recognize and notice where we're at as people of color and not kill each other. And I think it's step by step by step by step by step. In order to break 400 plus years of oppression, it's going to take time to break those cycles. It's just going to take time to implement that within our minds. And it's going to be casualties. And unfortunately, it's going to be good ones and bad ones. And we really don't like to see the good ones. But as far as, I don't think investing in your neighborhood is a bad thing. I don't think doing it the wrong way. I just think that's a lot of pain and a lot of hurt that Nori's taking in from the whole hip-hop community and giving that stress relief and giving that medicine for people that's in such pain. They don't know what else to say, but I don't want to help anymore. It's just a lot of pain. It's when the healing comes in, I think Nori's going to change his mind.
I think Nori is kind of feeling a lot of pain, as you said, and I agree with you 100%. But I think pretty much what Nori said, probably close to what you just said a minute ago, is invest in your own neighborhood, invest and try to keep it up, but you just can't chill there. You got to be gone. Yeah. It's just too much fucking hate. It's just that people, I don't understand the hate to the point where somebody wants you dead. I can understand them not liking you. I can understand them not fucking with you, but wanting you dead is like, that's some other shit right there, bro. It's
really wanting to have control over the energy of a mass amounts of people when you can't get control in your particular skill set. If you can't be famous, if I can't be famous for making music for you. I'm going to be famous for killing your favorite artist. Just like the Sirhan did with John Lennon.
Right.
And different things of that nature. Those people still exist on this earth. So it's always a deeper rooted problem other than what we see on the surface that's easily fixable. And as you remember, if you've seen it, he went to a mental health facility.
Right.
He got picked up at a mental health facility.
He got picked up at a mental health facility.
So he's clearly telling us something is wrong in society. This isn't just haterism. This is, I'm messed up. I'm messed up.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm real. That's and this particular killing, because we had just lost XXX Tentacion not earlier this, late last year. He passed away. Poor young dude right there, just trying to make music and do the right thing, and even said he hopes his music lives on after he passes away. And somebody tried to rob him and kill him. But why do you think this Nipsey Hussle killing has taken on such? It just got people into a state of depression now.
Because he had everybody. He had the police force. He had the respect of the streets. He had the NBA. He had the NFL. And all he talked about was empowerment, independence, upliftment. He had Jay-Z.
Right.
Jay-Z just gave $15 million.
Yeah, to his kids.
Towards his children.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
That's big. Jay-Z was the first one to purchase all his mixtapes.
Right.
Jay-Z didn't know it was going to be an investment. Jay-Z did that because he respected a young entrepreneur. So it just touched a lot of people.
Right. It really did. It touched a lot of people who didn't even know Nipsey Hussle like that. I can't say that I knew Nips like that, but I did have the opportunity to chop it up with him on a few different occasions. He's a good brother, man, who was really trying to do something right. And
was. And he was getting good money, and he was living good. He wasn't struggling by any means. He succeeded, but it could have been so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely the picture of success, but he could have what he could have done.
Yeah, we'll always wonder. Like sometimes I sit back and wonder, and I know you do too, because we came from that same era coming up early in our careers. I often wonder what Tupac would have been like right now.
Oh yeah. I think he would have been political myself.
Me too, bro.
Yeah, I think he would have been political.
Now, I know for a fact in my heart of hearts that the Black Lives Matter movement, he would have been at the forefront of that motherfucker.
And one of the biggest actors ever, too, because he was something behind that.
Naturally skilled, bro. Naturally skilled. Absolutely naturally skilled. You've been doing solo albums since 1998? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Was it hard for you to step away from the group?
No. I was already beefing with the record label after Eazy-E had passed away because I was heavily into getting our masters and a lot more points and percentages.
Were y'all able to get that?
I was.
Okay.
I had to sue them because I signed with Eazy at 17, and it came to a point to where I would, like when we would sign for new records, I would sign separately and negotiate outside of the group, keeping my points, my percentages, my mechanicals, my writers. I don't know the business of what was going on with my family or my boys.
Right.
But
But you made sure that you separated it.
I had to. Yeah, I had to. It was, we started butting heads too much. And we were
with the label,
with each other too.
Okay.
Yeah, we started butting heads because my boys was agreeing with the label and I wasn't really agreeing with the label, and I had to compromise some, and I had to be able to just basically go out on my own and protect my own rights and the things that I could. So me going solo was freedom. It was me being able to just do me and do the things I wanted to do, talk about the things I wanted to talk about me being kidnapped, being in foster homes, stuff that Bone Thugs don't really like to talk about. They not really on that kind of a vibe. It was always warfare, and they would never get deep inside. You know how LL did I Need Love.
Right.
That was come from that era, like showing feelings and emotions in music. So it was fairly simple for me to start out and do that, and that's why I've kept putting out solo music and always with my boys as well. But it's
two separate entities. Bone Thugz-n-Harmony is one entity. Bizzy Bone is a total separate entity. In
retrospect, it is. But whatever I do, whatever I come up with,
you still repping them.
It always falls back on them because they always say, "But your boys, the people." The people won't let you forget your family. They just won't. Don't matter how big you get, even when it's Michael Jackson, they continuously asked him about what's up with Jermaine, what's going on with Tito, What's going
Right.
on with Joe?
Right.
Look at Janet. Where's
Right.
Reby at? So it's always going to be that. And that's a blessing because when I'm not working, they're working.
Right.
And people are asking them about me. So it just revolves, and I like to embrace the constant marketing and promotion and branding, you know?
Yeah. And it works. It works for everybody.
Yes.
It's a good look for everybody. Are you're solo now, completely solo as far as label is concerned, or do you still owe Ruthless music?
No. We work with Ruthless Records as far as mechanicals and royalties and writers shares, like, because I own all of mine. So, you know, the rest of my boys, they're in whatever that they're into with them. So I still deal with them, have a cordial relationship with them. But Bone or myself, we're not signed up under anybody. We've been independent for years and years and years.
How's that life, bro?
It's good.
What's the difference?
Well, because like when you're not independent, the new way is sign a 360, so you don't get money from the shows.
Please explain to everybody what a 360 deal.
A 360 means they own everything. Your TV appearances, your endorsements, your show money, and they give you a bulk sum of money, a lump sum of money, but they own everything. And that's why they hustle and grind for your Sprite endorsements. They hustle and grind for your car endorsement, your Rolls. You'll get a Rolls Royce. You'll get a lifetime shipment of Sprite. You'll get a few Petite Philippe's and all that other tech and all that. You'll get a few of them. But the money that's being made from it, you're going to be surrounded. And it's like the price that the new artists have to pay and some of the older artists fell into because we're used to signing with labels. And they, whatever's on the paperwork, hey, this is the way things go. Cool, I'll get out of it. Not a 360. You will not get out of a 360. For instance, Jay-Z signed a 360 with Live Nation, but they gave him $100+ million.
Right.
It's worth it then. You know what I mean? Because that's enough.
They did it twice.
Right.
They re-upped.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough.
But one thing Jay did is he didn't allow Live Nation to own his concerts outside of the United States.
He sat it down. He negotiated.
Yeah, he got right with it. He was like, okay, when I go overseas, though, y'all don't get none of this shit. You can have the United States, but $150, he figured $150 million, I wasn't going to make that anyway, so let me take this from them.
Exactly, and they made sure that they made it.
Oh, they made that 150 back.
They put that extra effort in there like all promoters
right,
should.
merchandising,
so
all
out.
of that.
Yeah, it worked out. So, it worked out good for Jay-Z, but for other artists, like you see Lil Uzi Vert, not to talk on his business, but he's like, I don't like where I'm at right now.
Right.
And other artists, Lupe Fiasco's and some of these other ones, they're starting to say, I'm not feeling this now because they're getting a little older now. The new generation, Post Malone and Lil Pump and, coming in, so when something's coming in, it's the same sound. It's all auto-tune. Ain't no signature voices.
Right.
Post Malone, Migos, and Lil Pump, they all sound the same. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know which one is which on the song because it's a certain vibe of an auto-tuned sound that the people are tuned into. Mm-hmm. So you add those things up with that 360. Oh, my God.
Wow. That means if they do a show, the record label gets that money.
Oh, my God. Yes, sir.
If they're all their merchandising, the record label's getting that money. Mm-hmm. If they get a commercial, the record label gets the money.
The whole kit.
Is it a percentage of it or is it all of it?
It's normally all of it, but if you can negotiate anything. That's what people, if you don't jump the gun,
right,
and you got a good buzz, you can negotiate different things and avenues to get this and gain that. So it's growing, and people are getting smarter, just like with anything else. You know?
So what is it that they give you a lump ass sum of money up front? So say it's young Bizzy Bone. Bizzy Bone putting out mixtapes. He's on the internet. He's doing his thing. His buzz is tremendous. There's 500,000 people or more following him. Every time he puts out a mixtape, it gets snatched up. It's all over. It's charting. It's doing all that. So what does the record company come and offer you? A lot of money?
Okay, let me just give you an example. My son, actually Little Bizzy. He got a buzz. He had like $1 million. Now he got $2+ million for his song Bizzy's in the House. He had like $1 million+. He was on the come up his buzz. So he goes out to one of these respectful labels that we wouldn't keep unnamed because I don't burn no bridges.
Right.
And they offered him $500,000, but they wanted him to sign for 7 years and sign away everything. Like everything.
Wow.
Like, we own it all, but we'll give you $500,000. And my son, he know he got me.
Right.
And he said, Dad, I told him no. I said, well, why didn't you let me look at the paperwork? He said, because, Dad, I mean, they basically just told me they want to give me anything. Like, they just wanted to give me this money, and that was it.
Wow.
Like, all my boys wanted to take the deal, and I didn't go for it. I said, that was really, really good, son, but next time let me look at that paperwork.
Right. For 7 years, though.
Yeah, they wanted him locked in for 7.
And you know what's smart about Lil Bizzy? He knows he's going to make more than $500,000 in 7 years.
Yeah, definitely. I spent more than that just to keep him in house and home, keep clothes on his back. But he out there doing it big now. He made the right decision. He built his own studio in L.A. He's doing really, really good. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, how old is Lil Bizzy now?
Lil Bizzy is 23 years old.
Wow, bro. Time flies like a motherfucker.
Matter of fact, it'll be 23 April 13th.
Happy birthday to my man Lil Bizzy out there, man.
Yes, sir.
Time flies, man. How did you manage with everything? You were kidnapped when you were young. You was from foster care, from this, that, and the third. You had a really public struggle with substance abuse for years. How did you manage to come through all of that, Biz? I
mean, well, I think the earlier stuff that happened to me made me stronger, for the things for later on. As far as the alcoholic thing, or having alcohol problem, I was just too young and moving too fast. I had to look at things in the perspective and slow myself down. And then a lot of that was thrown in because I was a live wire and I just wasn't agreeing with the record label. So it was easier to say that I had substance abuse problems and things of that nature when it really wasn't even that, But, I had to slow down.
Unhappy.
Yeah, I was definitely unhappy. I had to slow down drinking, but being kidnapped, being in foster homes, and going through this, that in the streets, and it built me to be strong enough, and it gave me tough skin to just deal with the pressures of being an artist and being an entertainer. And it was a breeze to go through problems. It was a breeze to not know how to manage my money and then gain my money back because I came up from being broke. So I knew what it was. I knew what it looked like. And I knew that it was money still there. I just needed to understand how to deal with social media. I needed to deal with monetization. I needed to know how to deal with Pandora. I needed to know how to deal with the mechanicals as far as the internet stuff was going. So that was a whole nother phase. So it was just because it was a learning process and because I had tough skin, that's what got me through, basically, Ed. That was what got me through.
Yeah, and that's a blessing from God.
Yes, sir.
All over the place. But I noticed one thing about you: you never lost your love of God. Through everything that you was going through, you always big God up in your music. You always big God up when I saw you on stage. You always told people to keep the faith. Always told people to keep believing, keep praying, stay prayed up, and through Jesus, all things are possible. You was always on that from day one, man.
Yes, God is always alive, and I try to tell people, always keep God in positive situations. When negative things happen to you, do your best not to blame God, because the best thing you can do to gift God is make sure that he's around when you're blessed, never in your struggle. You always want to come up out of a struggle and say, I made it, God. I didn't want you around, but I made it out by following your statutes and in your son's name. Right. And I think that to me, that's what would make God happy, to know you don't just call me in your time of need. You call me in celebration. You call me when you're happy during the jubilee and not the struggle. That's just how I've always felt. And, I'm always keep God first and always tell people God is alive. And God is, don't ever forget, don't matter how old you get, he's still alive. After Nipsey, God is alive.
Absolutely.
After what happened in New York with the Twin Towers, God is alive.
Absolutely.
Stay strong.
My man, Bizzy Bone, man. I appreciate you coming in, man. Much success to you.
I appreciate you.
Love you, brother.
I love you.
This is my brother in hip hop right here, Bizzy Bone right here. Come on, son. The podcast. We out of here. Peace. Come on, son. This Ed Lover podcast is being done in conjunction with Cigars International. Make sure you check out cigarsinternational.com for all your cigar needs.
This episode of Come On Son, the podcast, is produced and engineered by co-executive producers Krista Hayes and Kimana Paulus in downtown Chicago. This is an official Loudspeakers Network podcast. Network podcast.